Hi everybody and welcome back to 30 Thursday. It's me, your host, Jen. I'm on assignment again this week down in my sewing studio, which is in the basement of my house. Has horrible fluorescent lighting and these really old recycled cupboards. It was all here when we moved in, but it turns out it's the best place to sew as the counters are the perfect height and the storage is great for fabric. So this week, I thought I'd show you guys something useful and also check something off my personal list by making a really fun strap for my DSLR camera, which many of you probably have, and it may still be attached to the ultra boring Nikon strap or Canon, whichever you prefer, that came with it. So this week I'm going to make a new strap and hopefully inspire you guys to do the same. So stay with me and watch how I do it. Okay everybody! The first step in making your awesome Couture camera strap is to assemble all your pieces. So I like to use what I have lying around the house, and I realize you all probably don't have a full sewing studio for your Etsy shop, so you might not have these things lying around your house, but do try to use stuff that you have, an old purse strap, or you could take the hardware off of that, or use the webbing. So try to be creative and find things. These are the specifics of what I'm using. So I have some black nylon webbing. This happens to be 2 inches wide. I'm going to use this for the base of the strap. That'll give it, a really strong and durable feel. And then you're going to want to choose a design, a piece of fabric that you really love, that you're going to use for the colored side of your strap. And this happens to be an Alexander Henry print. It's a home decor weight fabric, so it's a little bit heavier. But you could also use something like a jacquard ribbon, which I use for my guitar straps. You could use something like that. But if you choose to do fabric, I suggest you cut it wider than the width of your webbing, and then press it in so that the rough edges are to the inside, and then those will be against the webbing, so they won't have a chance to show or to fray. So those are some things you want to think about. I'm going to use a contrasting piece of fabric. This is just a really simple little polka dot fabric that I'm going to make a ruffle with. So I just tore it from selvage to selvage instead of cutting it, so it kind of has that frayed look on the edge. Then I'm going to use pieces of leather on the ends. That'll just kind of cap off the webbing, and it'll be attached to the strapping that actually will hold it to the camera. And I don't have any nylon webbing for that, so I'm just going to use this cotton twill tape, which is really strong, and it's about the width I need to get it through the little metal pieces on my camera. So those are the pieces that I'm going to use, aside from my trusty Salvation Army sewing machine, my super great pin cushions that I got from a friend, made out of recycled bottle caps, and just some thread, contrasting or white, whatever you have, and we'll get started. Okay, we're going to assemble the main part of the strap. So I have here my colored piece of fabric, all pressed and ready to go. I had cut it at 4 inches and ironed it down to 2, and then my piece of webbing. So placing one on top of the other, I'm just going to stick them under my presser foot here, and I'm going to stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the side down each side, and that will hold the two together. Okay, so I finished stitching that down each side. As you can see, I have a row of stitching really close to the edge. You can see it on the back too. I used white thread so everyone will be able to see it. And you might be wondering on length. What I did was I measured my old boring factory strap, and that was about 40 inches. That's the length that I've been using and I'm most likely used to. So I cut this at about 30 inches, giving myself some room for the adjustable pieces on the end. So you might want to do the same to figure out your length. The next step is going to be to fashion your leather tabs, which are going to go on the end. So I'm going to pause it so I can cut mine, and then I'll show you kind of what I did. Okay, here's what I ended up doing. So I measured the width of my webbing, which was 2 inches, and then I laid it on my piece of leather, cutting it so that there was a little bit on the outside of each side. And then I cut a front and a back for both ends of my strap. Okay, so I've stitched along the base through both layers of leather and through my webbing. And also what I like to do when I'm sewing on my regular machine through leather is I like to put a piece of parchment paper along the bottom. If you don't have like a Teflon plate or a Teflon foot, I like to just sew right through the freezer paper because that just makes it slide easier and not stick. So then when you're finished, you just tear the freezer paper off and there's nothing left behind. So now this is gonna be the fixed end. I'm not gonna have an adjustable attachment or an adjustable strap on this side. So I cut a piece of my twill tape that I'm going to use at 10 inches and folded it to about 5 inches, and I'm going to stick the end in there. So when I sew around this loop, again, I'll probably use the parchment paper. I'm going to make sure I stitch through this as well. Okay, so here's what I came up with. Again, I just used a scrap piece of, I might have said parchment paper before, but this is actually freezer paper. I used a scrap piece of that on the back just so it wouldn't get held up on my machine. I stitched my loop on and I went all the way around. And as you might notice, the leather kind of stretches and shifts, so I do have a little bit of a discrepancy here, which I'll just probably trim them off so they're the same size again. And then also while I was sewing, I realized I forgot to do my ruffle, which I had planned on and I should have done before I stitched this bit here. So this is actually going to be a ruffleless strap. Make that correction. And yeah, that's how real my videos are. I forget stuff and I'm too lazy to actually go back and redo the video. So I'm going to prepare my leather tabs for the other side, and then I'll show you how to attach the adjustable strap in just a second. Okay, hang on. Okay, so this is my second side. As you can see, I've stitched across the bottom there. And then I'm going to use this for my adjustable piece of strapping attaching to the other side of the camera. So this I'm not going to fold over, I'm just going to attach it singly in there. And then later on, after we're putting it on the camera, is when I'll install, now I lost it, is when I'll install the hardware pieces to make it adjustable. So for now, just attach it just singly right at the tip like you did the last piece of webbing. And then again, you'll maybe trim the edges. Okay, now comes the best part, putting it on your camera. So for the one side that had the double attachment up here and was just basically a loop, you're just going to loop swoop and pull that onto the fixture on your camera. And then on the other side, where you're going to be using your hardware, everybody's hardware is going to be different, but basically you're going to thread it through your adjuster, through your slider, through your camera, and then go back through both. And actually the truth about me is that I never adjust anything, and kind of however it comes is how I leave it. So in the 4 years that I've had this camera, or maybe 3, I don't know, I've never changed the length of the strap. So I just went ahead and stitched mine just so I knew it wouldn't come out or be sliding around anywhere. So now I've got my lovely camera with a prettier strap than I started with. It was pretty simple. Took about 15 minutes and probably about 3 minutes due to the miracles of 30 Thursday filming. And there I have it. So I'm all set to go to my next family outing, and I have a super cute strap, and when we go to grab our cameras off the table, I will know which one is mine. So I have a little surprise. Because of the process of filming, I actually made 2 of these straps just so I could get it right. And I want to offer the second one, my twin strap, as a giveaway. So if you would like to win my 30 Thursday Couture camera strap, all you need to do is comment on my blog post, and on next week's 30 Thursday I will announce a winner chosen randomly from that random chooser website that all the other blogs know about, but I'm going to find out. So it will be randomly chosen, and I will announce it next week on who will get the lovely strap, and it will be mailed to you by me as a thank you for watching. So thanks for watching this week's 30 Thursday. I hope you guys make a camera strap or if it's not in your skill set, then go ahead and enter for my giveaway, and you will get one that looks a lot like this. So thanks for watching, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next 30 Thursday. Bye.